Welcome back, Colts fans. Welcome back to the Blue Stable Podcast, the official podcast of Fansided. Obviously, I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling royal. Had a big, my team had a big win Saturday. Put some foots in them. We did it to them. But this is the Colts, so I got to rep the Colts. Joined by me, as always, Destin Adams, Rashad McGinnis. How are y'all doing, guys? Me, I'm great. Fantastic. How are y'all?
Man, you're so aggressive. You're getting so close to the camera, we can't even see your face. Like, you're, like, barking at us. But,
yes, sir.
Hey, it's really good to have Rashad back, man. I mean, hey, me and Michael got through a whole episode last week without you, without arguing at all.
It was very peaceful.
Yeah, it was crazy, actually. We got through the whole episode, and at the end, we had to, like, reminisce on the fact that we just went through a whole episode without arguing. I was like, Rashad would be proud of us.
I'm willing to bet y'all can't do it again. I got money down.
I'm not putting money on nothing.
Depending on how our conversation went before we went live, I'm not putting money on that either. So, guys, look, Rashad, I'm glad to have you back. There's a couple conversations I need to have with you in the NBA realm, but we'll have that after the show.
Oh, yeah,
but
for sure.
Absolutely, guys. We had big news coming out. You say, we, the Blue Stable, we are going to be in Indianapolis for week 2 when the Colts decide to go hunting for some Rams, taking off those ugly-ass horns on their head, taking them off, cutting off their head, okay? We're going to go hunting and make sure to be at that game. We're going to be there. But also something bigger is going on. Peyton Manning is actually going to forget about the Denver Broncos for a second and come back to Indianapolis.
For at least one night.
For one night. No more Broncos commercials, scholarship commercials, no more games, Denver Nugget games he's going to. He's actually coming back to Indianapolis like he's got some sense, okay? Him, Edgerrin James are going to be presented into – take it away, Destin.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be announced just honoring them for becoming Hall of Famers. It'll probably be a halftime event, I'm guessing. I feel like that's what they did for Marvin and Tony a few years back. I'm excited. I mean, we're all going to be there. It kind of just worked out for the fact that it's going to be week 2 when Michael and Rashad are coming up for the game anyway. I mean, obviously, I'm always here repping that 317 here for you guys. But so, I mean, it works out well for us, obviously. But I think it's also just going to be a good game for it to happen. Hopefully, it's a win. Maybe they did it because they want to put some extra motivation in those seats, make sure Peyton Manning's coming back for more than just his Riley Hospital visits, that he's coming back for some more Colts things. Hopefully he's going to rock that Colts suit he wore on the jet to get honored as a Hall of Famer. But hey, we're excited. Tailgate, we're going to have a Blue Stable tailgate week 2. We're ready. Rashad's going to get to watch his brother just get his ass beat in week 2. We're all excited.
All right, let's cut the crap. We was being modest. The Colts heard the Blue Stable was coming, so they decided, let's make it a big celebration. Let's do something that it's going to be memorable and it's going to be legendary. So we're going to get to witness Edge and Peyton get recognized as the Hall of Famers that they are. And hopefully Reggie will be joining that list soon. And we're excited, man. We're excited to be there. We're going to tailgate. We're going to eat some food. We got some other things in the work. Destin trying to make something big happen. And we'll see if we can put it through and make it go. But man, anyway, I'm excited to see it, man. Like you said, my brother gonna be in town. I want him to do well, but not too well. I told him that this weekend at the wedding.
We don't want him to do well at all, Rashad. Don't lie. He can do well every other game. They can go 16-1. We don't care. Like, but
he can't get a defensive coordinator job, Dustin, if you keep having ill will wished on him.
He can go 16-1, letting everybody else score like 3 points a game. But he's gonna get beat like 70-3 week 2. That's fine.
70-3?
Yeah, decided.
They're gonna score 3?
Yeah, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna score at all. I'm calling 70-0.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I'll take Rashad's brother over our current DC. Hello! Wow. That's the difference between, in the words of Morocco Brown, That's the difference between Starbucks coffee and cheap hotel coffee. That's just what it is right there. So, guys, look, we got to talk more in depth about this because Peyton and Edge, man, look, I'm not old enough to remember Edge tearing up the league, but they got YouTube for a reason. And the damage that this man did, seeing Peyton Manning play, for the last, 2 years before that horrible injury that forced him to sit out and the Colts get the number 1 overall, it was fabulous. It was awesome. It's definitely an honor. Finally, they're coming back. Edgerrin James, it's like I'm really just waiting on Reggie, like you guys said. I'm really waiting on him. But when it comes to Peyton, I need to have a conversation.
The biggest bittersweet moment of all of it is that we're not able to have all 3 of them because we should be having Reggie, Edge, and Peyton all getting honored the same year. But the NFL dropped the ball. I mean, the fact that Reggie Wayne is going to be a 3rd ballot at best is wild to me. Maybe that's just the fandom that's coming out. I mean, last week, if you guys listened to the episode, me and Mike were even talking about how Marvin Harrison was the better receiver between Reggie Wayne and Marvin Harrison, but Reggie Wayne is such a huge icon in Indy. I think he blows Marvin Harrison out of the water when it comes to just being the icon in Indy, because there were probably times where Reggie Wayne was more beloved in Indianapolis than Peyton Manning was. Reggie Wayne was that type of guy here.
Yep. I mean, you said it best. You did say it best. And I mean, I just knowing that I was already excited to go to the game, but knowing that Peyton Manning, I'm going to be in the same building as this man. And when we talk
same building, he's going to be at the tailgate. What are you talking about?
Absolutely. I mean, we're actually going to, Rashad, we're going to teach these Northerners something about some good macaroni and cornbread, all right? It's not just about salt and pepper. We're going to use some real seasoning. You know what I mean? That's what we're going to do. That's how we're going to do it. That's how we do things down south. We bring flavor to the game. All right, Rashad, come on, man. I can't be alone on this. What are you bringing to the tailgate?
I'm going to bring with probably some ribs. Are you a ribs person? You guys rib guy? I know Dustin's a cook. You're a famous.
I don't know about famous cook, but I enjoy cooking. We'll see what I can do for the tailgate, I guess. But man, y'all getting some fancy food for a tailgate.
Nah, I just want some burgers. To be honest, I'm just a burger guy, bro.
I say just grilling out, but I guess the biggest thing, for me, it's always very surreal when Peyton comes back. Because, like you said earlier, we joke around about how involved he is with the Denver Broncos. But I mean, every single time I see him interacting with the Broncos social media, doing something for their social media, I mean, he did their schedule release. It hits me every single time. It just pulls on my heartstrings. Why? Why is this happening? And I understand the situations. Him and John Elway were friends before he was even in Denver, playing in Denver. He lives in Denver. So, I mean, it's definitely easier access to be a part of that franchise here and there. But I still think he has love for Indy, especially the fans. I mean, I feel like every time he's here, every time he talks about Colts fans, he just has a emotional connection with Colts fans that I don't feel like Broncos fans or the Broncos organization will ever understand. Peyton Manning became a family member to some Hoosiers, man. There are people that look at Peyton Manning like he's their brother, he's their father, he's their cool uncle that they invite to the cookout.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get too much into it, but the hell is in Denver?
But
downtown is disgusting. It smells like old stale Cheetos, and you got trash laying all over the street. And
let's also give Edgerrin James his dues. I mean, we're talking about Peyton a lot here.
I was just about to talk about.
Yeah, I say because Edgerrin James, man, was a special talent at running back. I mean, the Colts have had some great guys come through the Colts organization at running back, but Edgerrin James is just one of those guys that when watching him, I mean, from his draft story for everyone comparing him to Ricky Williams and him being able to exceed those expectations, prove the Colts right in a sense. And also just Edgerrin James never changed who he was. I mean, his personality has always been loud. The dude does what he wants. I mean, his occupation basically now is he just owns multiple strip clubs. Like Edgerrin James doesn't care what you guys think of him. He just does what he wants. And I mean, Edgerrin James is my dad's favorite Colts player ever. Like, I mean, and that's saying something because my dad usually likes the tough, gritty kind of guys, but he loves himself some Edgerrin James. He'll say that all day, every day, that Edgerrin James is that Colt that he just looks back on like that was my favorite Colt of all time.
Yeah, Edgerrin, man. I remember when he came in the league. I was young, though. I was really because just seeing what the Saints living in New Orleans and seeing the haul that the Saints gave up to move up to go get Ricky was kind of like it was the blockbuster trade. Everybody was comparing it to at that time the gold standard for a trade was like the Herschel Walker trade from a long time ago. So everybody was comparing it. It was pictures of Ricky Williams in a wedding dress with Mike Dicker, who was the Saints coach at the time, and it was just pandemonium. And the Colts did, as the Colts always do, quietly make a move. They quietly drafted Edge over Ricky Williams. Of course, the draft analysts at the time had a bunch of negative things to say about it, about how do you take Edgerrin James over Ricky Williams, and Edgerrin came out rookie year 1,500, like just immediate production. And Edge wasn't the fastest guy. He wasn't the shiftiest runner, but he had great vision. He was elusive. He broke tackles, and he just had an undeniable will to win. And he did it his way. Like he never conformed to the team. He kept his same personality. He was exciting, man. And his personality, I think, is why he's so beloved in Indy, like you said, Dustin. And I think that's part of the reason why we look at Reggie Wayne the way we do over Marvin Harrison. Because Marvin Harrison was just a complete quiet guy. Like, he was extremely productive and went about his business, but he was super quiet. And we all know about the story we heard afterwards.
Some would say Marvin Harrison's kind of weird. Like, he wasn't just quiet. Like dude was a little weird.
Yeah, he was. I mean, his mustache was even weird. Like, he just was weird. Like,
just go watch his Hall of Fame speech. Like, he really is just kind of like a little bit of a socially awkward dude. Just played football, did it as good as really anybody.
Right.
Like, Marvin Harrison's in that like top 10 realm of receivers. We're like, yeah, Marvin Harrison, good football player.
Yeah, like hell of a football player. And I was super young when Marvin got drafted, but he was another one, man. Extremely productive. Deserved to be in the Hall, along with Dungy, along with Peyton and Edge. Reggie will join them soon. Robert Mathis, hopefully, will be there in due time. That Colts team, man, that was a special team. It still pains me that we only got one ring out of that team, but it's still good to see them get honored and treated the way they made us feel for so many seasons, you know.
All right, moving on to our next topic here. This one is going to be sponsored by Manscaped. The Lawnmower 4.0 is officially here, and it's the best one yet. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code FANSIDED20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code FANSIDED20. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Now, guys, this next topic is going to be fun. Earlier today, I actually watched this live, honestly. Shannon Sharp, the great Shannon Sharp. He does, for those who don't know, he does a sports debate show Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 11 Eastern. And they were having a topic because Julio Jones was seen in a Dallas Cowboys shirt. All right. The topic came up with Julio Jones being Dallas, yada, yada, yada. Shannon Sharp, the biggest flex ever on live sports debate TV, called the man up and straight up asked him, want to go to the Cowboys? Where you feel like going? Stuff like that. All right. We got to talk about what had happened first and the mockery Julio did of Dallas. Also, he said, I want to win. And that was in reference to Shannon Sharp urging him not to go to Dallas. So I certainly enjoyed that as a Washington football team fan. I loved it, every part of it. So, Rashad, I got to start with you on this one, man. What was your reaction when the news broke on this?
I couldn't believe the way it unfolded. I was stunned. And then somebody just sent me the video and just said, Julio wants out. That's all the screenshot said. So I'm at work and I clicked the video and I hear that it's live on air. And I'm like, there's no way he knew he was being recorded. Like, it's no way you get a person to speak that candidly. Like, normally they'll tell you, well, I can't say nothing about Dallas. I can't speak on it, or it doesn't matter to me where I go. The generic answers that players always give. But for Julio to give it up like that, I don't think he knew he was being recorded. That's my personal stance on it. I don't think he knew, only because I don't think he would just say he doesn't want to go to Dallas when you really have no control over wherever they decide to send you. So if you really want to be out of Atlanta, I don't think you would shoot down another team, a potential suitor, if you really want to go that bad. So that's why I really don't think that he knew he was being recorded.
Well, real quick. We're going to get into all that, but I do want to focus on this trade saga and everything. Rashad, awesome stuff. But before Destin gets in, I want to stay on track real quick on how this developed. We'll get into who's wrong or who's not wrong here in a little bit. So, but when it comes to just denying Dallas, so funny, and where he could go, Destin, jump in, man.
So, I mean, I guess my thing, I think we all assumed that the reason this was happening is because Julio Jones wanted out. I mean, the Falcons aren't just listening on offers on Julio Jones without Julio Jones requesting to leave. I mean, you don't trade those kind of guys. You don't trade those like franchise kind of guys without that request in there. Now, obviously, players sometimes do it a little bit more respectfully, and they don't make it vocal. They don't make it so loud to the point that the team loses leverage. I mean, the Falcons have been reporting it that they were trying to do it to save salary and not because Julio Jones wanted out. So, I mean, that they gave him a little bit more leverage. I mean, obviously, it coming out how it did today on the show, that kind of takes leverage away, knowing that Julio Jones has no intent of playing in Atlanta next year. But, I mean, I think it's just all stuff we already knew. Now, like Rashad said, him being willing to just literally say, yeah, not Dallas, was hilarious to me, especially because there's reports coming out that he's interested in playing in New England and Las Vegas, which, I mean, I would understand market-wise. Like, I understand the draw money-wise, the draw you could be able to make money in those areas, in the storylines. But if your actual reason's winning – why there right now? Like, I just don't think that lines up with that reasoning. But I mean, hey, like I said, I think everyone knew that Julio Jones wanted out. That was the reason for it. I said it earlier today. If you have Calvin Ridley in fantasy leagues, I'd trade him.
So it was reported earlier today, I believe it was Ian Rappaport that discussed Julio Jones actually, and now correct me if I'm wrong, but this was the first tweet that I saw that actually said Julio Jones demanded a trade a few months back. Now, just correct me if I'm wrong real quick. Was today the first time?
Where it came out that Julio Jones wanted
publicly?
out?
Yeah, not trade rumors, that Julio Jones himself asked to be traded.
I believe it. I mean, it's coming from him, so it's definitely the first time that it's been quoted on him, obviously.
No, I'm talking
I don't
about
think any – I think it's the first from that you're seeing from the big beat writers. I mean, some people have been writing like predictive or some smaller writers are just making up stuff, but this is the first one that has weight.
Okay, so it makes sense now why Atlanta went with Kyle Pitts. I honestly think they should have went with him, but obviously there was talk about them possibly getting Justin Fields, so maybe there was real interest in that, but potentially losing Julio Jones, getting asked to trade him, went into them taking Kyle Pitts. So I just want to harp on that real quick. Now, when it comes to, not going to Dallas, I mean, okay, you'll have the number one offense, but you'll finish with like a 6-11 record because your defense can't stop anyone. So congratulations. I fully agree. He shouldn't want to go to Dallas. When it comes to New England and all that, obviously him and Cam, they have a good relationship. But I mean, when it comes to where he can land, I think I'm going to start singing a different tune than I did last week, Destin. But, man, go get him. Go get him. I'm done. Today was It was it.
Well, I tell you.
He wants out of Atlanta. Go get him. Maximize your shot of getting a Super Bowl, even though deep down, I know it's not going to happen. We all know it's not Ballard. So this is just me saying my opinion before Destin wants to harp back in and argue all he wants. I just want to clearly say it's my opinion, not what I think Ballard's going to do, not what Ballard should do. Michael Christian Terrazas opinion. Go get Julio Jones. I mean, I was about to say something, but I'm going to let Destin actually say what's going to be said because he has the info. But Julio needs to come to Dallas. He needs to. Chris Ballard needs to do it.
Dallas.
Dallas. He needs to come to Indy.
Wow.
We need to maximize this Super Bowl window because even if you bring Julio on, you're not sacrificing your future Super Bowl window because his contract is going to be gone. You're still going to be drafting well, so forth and so on. People want to make it all about the money. Cap space doesn't exist. We all know that. We harped on that last week. Draft capital, we have the players, we have the rookie contracts, we have all that stuff, guys. We don't need 8 first-round picks, all right? We don't need all that. So I want one of you guys, or Destin, if you might want to share, maybe this might be a segue, but do you have anything to share with us?
I mean, I guess the only thing I'll say is, I know that the Colts do have interest in Julio Jones. I mean, the Colts have had interest this offseason in adding a receiver 1. It's something that they know they're missing. So it's not something that fans have just been harping on and something that fans believe they're missing. I mean, this team knows that they're missing that alpha receiver 1. They had interest this offseason in going and getting some other guys that were on the market, trying to get some people to visit. Didn't really work out their way. But, I mean, I've been told that the Colts have interest in Julio Jones now. How serious is that? How aggressive are they able to get? I mean, we'll see. I mean, there's other teams that are going to be interested, and obviously the Colts really can't trade a day 1 or day 2 pick next year. I mean, they're still waiting to see if what this pick that's going to Philadelphia for Carson Wentz is. I mean, we want to win the Super Bowl. We want that to be a first. But obviously, if somehow, some way we can do that and Carson Wentz only plays 70% of the snaps, we'll have to figure it out. But in general, I mean, there's just so many things up in the air. I think the best that the Colts could probably offer is like a 2023 second. And I just can't imagine other teams are not going to get in a higher bidding war with that. My opinion on it, anywhere but Tennessee. I don't care where he goes. He can go anywhere he wants, go win, go do what he's got to do. I own him in fantasy. I'm happy for him. Don't go to Tennessee.
Yeah, man, I'm in agreement with you, man. And it's almost like the Colts agree with us earlier, Dustin, this offseason when we were saying that Michael Pittman is not ready to be a number 1 receiver yet. That's actually validation that the team doesn't view him as that yet. I'm sure they think he will be that, and they're banking on him developing into one, which I think he has the potential to be a big-time X receiver eventually. But, he just needs some more development. And if you got a chance to go get a guy like Julio Jones and make it work, which we know the salary cap is just a myth. It can be maneuvered. It can be reworked. There's multiple ways to save money. Guys, don't think that if the Colts don't make this trade, it's because they were putting money aside for Darius Leonard and Braden Smith's extensions.
Man,
those guys.
If one more beat writer for the Colts puts out that the Colts aren't signing people because of Darius Leonard and Quentin Nelson, I'm gonna flip.
Bro,
like people have to understand how the cap works. Like those contracts have nothing to do with what we have on the books right now. Nothing. Zero. Like it doesn't do anything. I mean, we can give them some bonus money up front, I guess, out of it, but their salary is not being paid on this year.
Exactly.
At all. And these guys know that, which makes me think that somebody's pushing them to say some of that stuff. But we're not going to get into all that PR stuff right now.
Right. No PR. No.
Like, there's just got to be other reasons that this is being pushed out because like some of these Colts beat writers that are pushing it, like they're smart, like they're very intelligent guys when it comes to the Colts, the football, how football works. Like they know that that's not the case, but it keeps getting pushed. It keeps getting pushed. I mean, like there's got to be a reason for everything. Maybe it's just the Colts aren't willing to go a certain length on all these things. Like Ballard has a dollar amount for everyone. It's been obvious. Like that he's stuck to that every single year that he's been here. And people still want to make up reasons for everything. Bro, it's so simple.
It sounds better to say that than to say, well, Tennessee or such and such team outbidded us. We didn't want to spend this amount of money, and they were willing to spend this amount of money. It sounds a lot better than that, because then people
I understand, but why? It's not like they're saying that. That's just what people are assuming. So why do we have to put it out anyway? Like, what's the point?
Just spin a narrative. Spin a narrative.
I mean, I guess, but in general, like Rashad said, the salary cap myth, overrated, doesn't matter. If you think the Colts don't have the ability to sign their guys, but we just saw the Saints get over what they did. The Chiefs found a way to make money work. Like, money is a myth, man. Like some of these rich people, man, they can find ways. This voidable year crap that's going on in the NFL now, it basically makes it to where you can do whatever you want.
And remember Ballard front loads his contract, so now there's more money being opened up into the later years when you look at Glowinski, Ryan Kelly, and all these guys that are getting extensions. We just got to keep that in mind. So, I mean, again, Destin said that Ballard has a price on everyone. I think $15 million is the greatest price for the most freakish
only
wide
1 year
in the NFL.
15 for one, and 11 for two.
11 for the next two.
Exactly. Yeah. For the most freakish wide receiver in the NFL, the best wide receiver in the NFL.
Hey, like I said last episode, Julio Jones is your favorite receiver's favorite receiver.
Yes, that's how it is. There's been the best wide receiver the last 6-7 years. He has been the absolute best. He has kept his head down. He has been a leader. He hasn't been a diva like some of these dudes have. I mean, he's gone to work. He's done all this stuff.
Now, it depends on how you think about this Shannon stuff now, if you think there's a little diva in him at all. Because, I mean, if you're like me, I think that crap was staged. I just don't think there's a way that Shannon, of all people, set Julio up like that. There's no way.
Okay,
I think Julio knew. I think he wanted to find a route to where he could publicly say he wanted to trade without looking like a dick. That's what I think. I think he wanted to find a way to where he could say it and it didn't look like he was trying to say it. So now he'll be able to act and he'll be able to say that, man, I didn't know they were live, like that, and we'll see how Julio reacts to all of it, I guess. But that's just my opinion on it. Like, I just really don't see a way that Shannon did it. I really don't. Not a former player. Maybe somebody else could have did it on accident and I would have bought it. But I mean, a former player who's been there, worked with agents, worked with teams, like he knows how this game works.
Mm-hmm.
And he called a guy and didn't tell him he was live. I just don't believe it.
Well, so this is a nice segue into the next argument. Look, I was actually told like 9 months ago, because I was actually very curious, and Shannon Sharp is actually like an actual uncle to a lot of players in the league. He's actually like, players look up to him as an uncle. You know, Rashad, how, you know, you may not have that true relationship with your uncles, but you just have a grown up that's probably a friend. He's just in your life, and you just start calling him uncle. You just start calling him, hey, uncle, like, just stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's actually, Shannon Sharp actually has a relationship with a lot of these guys, Odell Beckham Jr. and even Antonio Brown, as much as, you know, they've had some beef in the past. But that's why I always thought, you know, everyone getting up and bothered about this just kind of bothered me. Like, why are you getting mad about this? Like, Shannon Sharp called his nephew, because that's what he considers him. He called his nephew, and Julio's not dumb. Shannon Sharp is not some nobody. We know what Shannon Sharp does Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 11. If Julio got that call at 10:30, he knows what it is. He knows what Shannon Sharp is doing. He knows his job. Shannon said, we're live. Okay, then. I mean, and like what Destin said, they knew. I was watching it live. I actually had a pretty easy day at work, so I was watching the whole segment, really wanted to hear what they had to say about the NBA playoffs and everything. So they got to the Cowboys segment, and looking back at it now, I remember, I didn't think about it at first, but I'm just like, Shannon was acting a little bit different in that segment. Like, he was ready to get on Skip. He was ready to break some news to Skip. And the closer and closer it got to that moment, he kept looking down. He kept the camera doesn't show what he was looking down on, but I would guess it was his phone or a clock, or whatever the case may be. The look on his face just kept saying like, okay, do I do it here? Or would it be a good time to call him here? Stuff like that. And come on, I mean, Julio knew what was, in my opinion, Julio knew what was going on. Julio and Shannon staged this.
Now we also
have a strong relationship. Shannon being from Atlanta, he lives in Atlanta. He spends time around Julio a lot. So for them to know that Shannon knew what was going to be talked about Monday. Hey man, Skip's probably going to want to blow this up. Our producer got with us. We're going to talk about this. How about we do this? All right, Unc, we got it. Okay, cool. In my opinion,
I agree with you, but we also need to make sure to say, like, this is all speculation. Technically, we don't know any of this.
That's why I kept saying in my opinion.
No, I just want to make sure it's like clear. Like, this is all speculation because he didn't technically say anywhere in the thing we're live. So, like, it also needs to be said that if Julio didn't know that they were live, if that's a real thing,
he did tell him.
No, he didn't.
He did not on the show.
Shannon told Julio after Julio went ahead and said what he said. He literally said to him, he was like, all right, nephew, I got to go. We're live, stuff like that. It was after the fact that Julio said that.
But, I mean, let's say that's the case. Let's say
the damage was done.
Yeah, so he's already said it. So if Shannon never told Julio before he said all that on live TV, that's messed up. I mean, like Shannon has to know that. Like I said earlier, do I think that happened? No, I think Julio knew. I do. I think this was staged a bit up for that to happen. But if it wasn't, then Shannon messed up. He needs to understand that. Like like I said earlier, he's a player. He's been there. He's worked with teams. He's worked with agents. He knows he can't do that.
He has too much respect for this league to do that.
And that's why I'm assuming that's not the case. But if he did, he deserves crap for it. He does, because that's crappy. He really screwed the Atlanta Falcons if that's the case. And Julio didn't mean for this to happen. I mean, it kind of hurts Julio's game character, his league character around the league now. He's gonna have a little bit of doubt with people because I mean, me and you are already doubting him. Like there's gonna be other teams that are doubting him now, thinking that he has a little diva in him, that he did this on purpose a little bit. Like, to me, if Julio didn't know, like, Shannon needs to apologize about it. Like, that's how I feel. Like, he messed up. I mean, that's just what grown men need to do at times. You need to set your pride aside, and when you mess up, you need to make the apology and move on. But, again, if you ask me point blank, do I think Julio knew? I think he did.
I want to get something in, but I'm going to say it after we get Rashad's word in first.
Yeah, as far as the Shannon Sharp thing, I don't think it was planned. Well, I think he did warn Julio that he was going to call him, but I don't think he told Julio that, it was going to be live on air. He probably just wanted to talk to Julio, because the only reason why I don't think it was pre-planned, because I don't think Julio would have came out and just bashed the Cowboys like that. I mean, like, that's the type of things you don't do knowingly to the public. Like, how many teams do these players you see want to get out of their current situation and just come out and say it themselves, not passing it through an agent or not passing it through somebody on their team, and just publicly say, okay, I don't want to play for this team. It do make him look a little diva-ish, and even if it was pre-planned, it's still going to make us look at Julio a little bit differently. And he was always the guy that was quiet and just put his hard hat on and went to work and didn't say a word. And no matter how bad Atlanta was or how good they was doing, you couldn't tell because Julio was productive either way. So now you see that happen and you was like, damn, Julio too? Like, it's all these receivers that it seems like have this type of thing going on. But I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's still Julio Jones and Shannon Sharp. Like you said, they do have a close relationship. I do know that. I've heard that from several players and coaches myself, because Shannon has relationships with not just the players, the coaches as well. A lot of those guys he's played with or played against, and those guys really have tight relationships. So I'm sure Julio and Shannon would get past it, regardless of the fact. Shannon looked at it as he's just looking out for his boy, one of his nephews, and I'm sure Julio appreciated Shannon lending his platform to him, whether he was knowingly doing so.
So here, I guess I'll throw a blowback, or some pushback, but I don't look at Julio Jones any differently at all. I don't see no diva in him. He was loyal to the Atlanta Falcons. He did everything they asked him to do. He played through injuries. He went through hard times. In public, he never voiced any displeasure. He never did anything about that. Now, behind closed doors, that's him and the owner's business. But, I mean, you're 32 now. If he was 26, then we'd be looking at it a little different, like we would Odell Beckham, Juju Smith, guys who are young, who are starting to think about themselves a little bit earlier. But Julio Jones owes the Atlanta Falcons nothing. The Atlanta Falcons owe him everything. He's done everything for the city of Atlanta. He's done everything by the book. And he doesn't, I don't see anything wrong by Julio. I don't see he's putting himself first. He's looking out where he wants to go, where he feels is his best chance to play for a title. And I don't see anything wrong with it, considering the fact that he's 32 years old. He's accomplished what he's accomplished. He's built himself up into what he's built himself up. He has the right to do whatever he feels, in my opinion.
If he had no idea what Shannon was doing, then Julio has no reason to apologize for anything. He can have that opinion. He can have that feeling. Like that's just men. Like you have to have that in this kind of game, this business. Like you got to have those kind of thoughts going on.
But even then, now, if it was staged, I still don't view him any differently.
But just a little pushback to what you said, I guess. Like, so you're saying like you would look at the younger guys worse, but I mean, shouldn't it be the other way around? Like younger guys are going to have those mistakes. Like younger guys are going to have those ups and downs in their character, ups and downs in that little diva-ness. I mean, that's the world we live in now. Like it's just easier for these young guys to be kind of divas. Julio at 32, I mean, if this was on purpose, if this was staged, I do think there's reason for concern to be like that's shady. Like that's shady business. And like you said, Julio's never been that person. Julio's always been that guy who puts his head down, works, grinds. And I don't think he owes the Atlanta Falcons anything. But I mean, it's just good business. Like how if you do request a trade and it's not made public. I mean, if it really was a couple months back that he requested the trade, I just don't see the need to make it public now because it just hurts the Atlanta Falcons, a team that you, whether or not you want to move on from, like still gave you that first shot in the league. They've given you all this stuff to be able to get this platform you have, to the point that I'm always against public trade requests. I just hate it in every professional sport really. And it just all comes down to if Julio knew or not. We're never going to know. We're never going to know because either way he can play it off like he didn't or he did. And hopefully one day it becomes clear. Maybe Shannon will say eventually. But to me, I just don't think it's a good look if it was staged.
I mean, that's Rashad. Did you have anything to say?
Draft. Can you hear me?
I think you cut out a little bit.
My back?
Yeah.
I'm good. Okay, yeah. A lot of times when these things go public, it's always after the draft. It's because a lot of times those GMs, people in the front office, they promise those guys, we're gonna get this deal done by the draft. And then when the draft happens and the deal doesn't get done, those players become frustrated. And they start to do little things like wear other teams' merchandise on their Instagram and post pictures and stuff like that. And I think that probably was the boiling point. Julio probably was told that was his last game as a Falcon for a while now. And he's been sitting on this information, quietly letting it go, and they dragged it out and the draft came and went and it's still no deal. So this probably just his frustration coming to a boiling point.
Well, see, here's the thing that I agree with you, Rashad. I mean, how many times Destin pointed out how it hurt the Atlanta Falcons? I don't give a how that hurts the Atlanta Falcons. How many times have organizations screwed over players in this league? How many times has that gone on? So, I mean, we know of a situation currently that we're not going to speak on, but how many times have organizations screwed over players? I could give two, what's about how it hurts the Atlanta Falcons. That's why I said Julio doesn't owe the Falcons anything. I don't care. You get one less draft pick. I don't care. You didn't keep your word. If it was the case, you didn't keep your word. You didn't stand by Julio. You didn't do any of that. Same goes for all the other things in the league. And like Destin said, when it came to younger players, it's different now because Julio is an established star, professional veteran in this league, as to where like a young Odell Beckham Jr. walking around here like he owns the league and everything. You ain't done nothing in the league, young brother. You haven't done anything but make one circus catch, which was phenomenal. But outside of that, really nothing. So now you're trying to walk around here like you're the big guy, you're everything in league. No, you're not. Go to Atlanta and see how work gets done there and Julio Jones, and then you could see where you're at 32 years old. So I think that's where we'll end this part of the segment, unless anyone else has anything to get into. Nope. Okay. All righty. So next up is what, Destin?
Real quick, we're just going to go ahead and do this next topic is the One Call Technology topic of the day. One Call Technology is a managed telecom service provider whose senior staff has 100+ years of experience in virtually every aspect of business communications. Business phone system installation and services, managed telecom service providers, telecom carrier managements, and high-speed internet. Head on over to One Call's website at www.onecalltech.com or give them a call at 888-585-8850 and tell them the Blue Stable sent you. I mean, let's just get a little bit more lighthearted here, guys. Julio Jones stuff, I mean, we don't even know if the dude's going to be a Colt. Probably not going to be a Colt if we're being honest with ourselves. But let's talk a little bit about the Colts. I mean, there's not much going on, mini camps going on, and the team's really trying to make this a lot more of a team building thing than more of a actual practice form. That's what I've kind of gotten out of it. And today we saw the team play in a team-wide knockout game. The final two in the video that's being shared is Carson Wentz versus Mo Alley Cox. We got to say, I mean, Carson Wentz has a strap, man. Dude's out there shooting it well for being QB1 out there.
You got to burn it.
Yeah, for real. Out there competing with Mo Alley Cox, a 1,000-point scorer in college at VCU out there, man, and doing his stuff. But, I mean, to me, that video might not seem like much to people, but to me, the thing that stands out is that coming into this endeavor with Carson, the whole thing is that he's broken, that he's emotionally broken down man who has nothing to look forward to. Like the media has just made it to sound like Carson Wentz has nothing left emotionally, that he's just this emotionally drawn guy who has no love for anything anymore because of the situation in Philadelphia. And I feel like you could already see that's not the case. Everything he's doing in Indy, like, dude just seems ready to play. Dude seems like a team-friendly guy. I haven't seen one person be next to Carson or talking about Carson without a smile on their face.
That's just the stigma that national media, well, really more so local Philly media has put out.
Brutal.
Man,
that Philly media, Philly fans, Philly in general, just brutal.
The Colts can't post anything without seeing it. Have you looked under the comments of that Carson Wentz video playing basketball? People are slandering him, man. And it's all Philadelphia fans, bitter Philadelphia fans. I think they just need to get over it at this point, man. I mean, he's gone now, so if he was really that bad and you got rid of him, it should be a weight lifted off your shoulders. I wouldn't want to keep revisiting the same guy that you say brought y'all so much torment, even though he was bad for one season. I don't understand it. I guess I just will never get, the Philly fandom.
They're more pissed off about the fact that they're stuck with Jalen Hurts than they are with what Carson Wentz did there. That's their whole reality of it. As much as I love Jalen Hurts, let's be honest, man, I just don't see what future he has as a quarterback in the league and I'm pounding the table for him to prove me wrong. Absolutely. But when it comes to this video, I didn't really think much of it, honestly. I just saw a team that was having fun. They were gelling together. They were having a good time. Looked like something that may have happened after practice. So maybe during practice. Maybe that was their practice. Just be competitive, I guess. But coming down to Carson and Mo, I think it was competitive. Mo Alley Cox as a former D1 basketball player, yeah, you kind of should win that matchup. I sure hope, because you're sure not winning matchups down the field. But hey, I mean, as long as it's
knockout, it's not one-on-one.
It's
my wife has no basketball skills, but I've seen her beat some of my little brothers that play high school basketball in knockout because she gets lucky.
Yeah, I mean, hey. When we get to Indy, we'll have a knockout game at the tailgate, and I'll whoop all y'all's behind. So that's how it'll go.
Well, you're going to lose.
But real quick on all this, I mean, it's basketball season. I mean, the football right now is really slow. We only have mini camp. The NBA playoffs are going on. And this knockout game just had me thinking, I mean, if we had to build 5-on-5 Colts player basketball teams, which one of us could make the best squad? And I want to do it. I want to have a 3-person draft real quick of Colts players, see who we got. I did a randomizer just now to see the order, and I got Michael, me, Rashad. 1,
I don't
2,
trust
3.
it. That's bull crap.
Hey, I mean, you'll get to go second in a row. I got 2. That's the worst.
Yeah, you're in the middle.
All right. All right, here we go.
5.
Here.
So we got 5. You got to get 5 players. You got to run the squad. I don't care how you do it. You can make a college lineup, an NBA lineup. If you want to do 2 guards and 3 forwards, if you want to roll with a center, do what you got to do. But you got to pick one player.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to start off with Quentin Nelson.
Where are you playing him?
Center.
Center?
You gotta be a center.
Man, I'm putting him because we all know he athletic.
You can't put him under a 4. He's got to be at least a 4 or 5.
He's a 5, man.
Y'all must not know what kind of a point forward he is. Y'all must not know that.
Knock it off.
I'll put him as a 4.
Okay. So, man, your hate for Mo Alley Cox is nuts. How do you not take a D1 1,000-point scorer number 1 on this? I'll take Mo Alley Cox at 2. What the heck is this, man?
Destin, what are you talking about? He had to leave college basketball to go to the NFL because he wasn't going to make it in the NBA.
This man was a 1,000-point scorer in college. You're nuts.
You over here talking about him like he was the next coming of Giannis or something like that. Come on, man.
When it comes to NFL players, come on, man. Okay, Mo Alley Cox at 2 because Michael has a hate for Mo Alley Cox.
Okay, well, with my first pick, I'm gonna go with Carson Wentz. After I seen that Bernie's guy, he's gonna be my stretch 4.
Rapper.
He's gonna be my stretch 4, man. We're gonna set him out behind the 3-point line. We're gonna bring big Quentin Nelson out to the perimeter, so he's ineffective. So it's my pick again, right? I'm gonna go ahead and get my point guard out of the way, and my point guard is going to
wait. What?
Yeah, snake. We're snaking it.
You don't get to go. Yeah.
Okay. Go.
So I'm gonna get my point guard out of the way. My point guard is gonna be T.Y. Hilton. I heard T.Y. Hilton is a good hooper, so I'm gonna take him on his word. Small guy, quick with the ball. I'm sure can feed it to my man Carson Wentz. So let's go. That's how we starting.
Hey, I've heard I'm getting my point guard. Then I'm excited about it. Should I go point guard or should I get my center? I mean, Michael's already got a big guy. Do I think Michael will draft a big guy in the next 2 picks?
I got a big guy too already. You got a big guy though.
Yeah, but I could have 2 nice bigs. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to go to Forrest Buckner at the 5. Dude's long, fast, and big. I mean, he's playing the 5 with Mo Alley Cox at the 4.
I'm going with Kenny Moore at my point.
Hey, that's who I was going to pick at point guard.
Oh, it's me again?
Yeah.
Let me go. Let me go Julian Blackman at my 2.
So who you got so far, Mike?
Kenny Moore at my 1, Julian Blackman at my 2, Quentin Nelson at my 4.
Okay.
The fact that this man didn't take Mo Alley Cox at 1 still cracks me up.
I can't believe it.
Had to leave college basketball for a reason.
Oh, brother. I'm going to go. I got Mo Alley Cox the 4. Got Defo at the 5. I'm gonna go quick gadget point guard. Give me 9-9. Give me Naheem Hines.
Okay. That's a good pick. Hey, can we pick from the coaches too?
I mean, if you want to put them up there, if you think they can run with them, go ahead. It's a full court 5-on-5.
There's a guy I know that is a for sure baller. Marcus Brady is gonna be my 2 guard.
My God.
That's my sleeper right there. Marcus Brady, Marcus Buckets is what I call him, man. Marcus Buckets is gonna be my 2. And then I'm gonna get my crazy 3 that's just gonna play all kind of defense, just gonna run around and foul people. Go with Darius Leonard.
Better not say-
Darius Leonard is gonna be my 3.
Hey, I like
Actually,
it.
If we're going in a 7-game series, I'm changing my lineup. I'm putting Quentin Nelson at the 5.
I think you should have put him at the 5 to begin with.
I said that, yeah.
I didn't know if y'all were gonna put or where y'all were gonna put DeForest.
Oh yeah.
It's all about matchups.
I almost took Kenny Moore instead of DeForest Buckner, but then I wasn't gonna let you get Quentin Nelson and DeForest Buckner.
That would have been crazy.
I'm gonna be honest. I actually wasn't thinking DeForest Buckner at all until you said it.
Oh, dude is so long. He's gotta at least block some shots for
I got
me.
the perfect 5. I got the perfect center waiting.
So for my 2 and my 3. So I've heard this dude's a little bit cold with it when it comes to basketball. So I'm gonna say Zach Pascal. I've heard a little bit from some players in the past that we've had on talk about him, that he's got some basketball skills. I don't know if I'm going to put him at the 2 or 3 yet. I'm going to see how Michael's next 2 go before I get to pick my last player.
Okay, so at my 3, I'm getting Bobby Okereke.
You want to match my 3, huh? I see what you're doing.
Bobby Okereke, and then because on my basketball team, we about to have length. That way we can go trap, we can go double teams, we can play zone, all that kinds of stuff. And at my number 4, I'm going Michael Pittman Jr.
Good pick.
I knew he wasn't going to leave this without taking Michael Pittman Jr. I just assumed that it was going to happen.
Hey, man, I like athletes. What can you say?
Who was your 5th? I know my 5th is.
I'm trying to pick who I want, if I want to play Pascal at the 2 or 3. Because that really decides it all. Let's go. I mean, this guy, as aggressive as he plays at football, has got to be a good defender in basketball, okay? So I'm going to say Rocky Sin.
Oh, God.
Oh,
I'm gonna take Rocky Sin. As aggressive as this man
I
is.
hope he guards Julian Backman because he's fouling out.
He's going to foul out.
We're playing 5-on-5 street ball. What are fouls, bro?
What? Oh, street ball. I got my team all the way.
Fouls?
I got the wrong team.
All the way.
I got the wrong team if we play street ball.
I got my team all the way. Boy, let's get it. Come on, baby.
Okay, at center for my team will be somebody who I think can match up with DeForest Buckner. Dayo Odangbo. Healthy Achilles, Dayo Odangbo.
So we're fast forwarding.
Yeah. We gotta go ahead in time. We can't play this game tomorrow. I need some time for my team to get healthy. So yeah, that's gonna be my fault.
I actually really like how my squad came out. I think I probably got the most athletic lineup.
You probably do.
I mean, who's guarding Nyheim Hines though? If he wants to take it to the bucket, who's running with him?
T.Y. gonna lock him up.
Kenny Moore's gonna stay with him step for step, and then with the length of his arms, he's not gonna allow him to skyhook or take it to the left or the right.
Nyheim Hines is gonna get himself to the bucket, then he's gonna have a little toss up to DeForest Buckner's long ass self, and it's over, bro.
Marcus Brady is a better scorer than everybody on everybody's team except Mo Alley Cox. I said except Mo Alley Cox. Let me finish.
I was ready to fight. So real quick, let's go in order. Let's say our 5, and then when y'all listen to this, I want to hear it in the comments on Twitter, on YouTube, wherever you're listening.
Yes, sir.
I want to know.
We're gonna have to tweet these teams out.
I need to know whose squad's the worst, whose squad's the worst. So let's Michael, you go first.
Which squad is the worst?
Well, read off your squad first.
Okay. All right. Point guard, I got Kenny Moore. Shooting guard, Julian Blackman. Small forward, Bobby Okereke. Michael Pittman Jr., my power forward, and Quentin Nelson as my center.
So we'll go in order of the draft. So I went with Nyheim Hines at the 1. I got Rocky Sin at the 2. I got Zach Pascal at the 3. Mo Alley Cox at the 4. And DeForest Buckner at the 5.
I have T.Y. Hilton at the 1. Marcus Brady at the 2. Darius Leonard at the 3. Carson Wentz at the 4. And Dayo Odangbo as my 5.
Wait, okay. Say it again, Quentin or Destin. What was your number 3?
Playing the 3 Pascal. Just because I've heard from multiple players from multiple places on interviews that apparently he's cold when it comes to basketball.
I really love my lineup.
I would like.
I'm just telling you right now. I don't think I will have a problem scoring under the bucket. I just don't think either of your squads are stopping Mo Alley Cox and Forrest Buckner. I'm just being honest with you guys.
Well, here's my thing about it when it comes to finishing at the bucket. At my 4 and 5, not only do I have strength, but I have length as well. Have
you seen DeForest Buckner?
Quentin Nelson will match up with him. When it comes to Mo Alley Cox, I actually went back and watched this game. Michael Pittman will chase him off. I mean, that's just how I think it'll go. When it comes to pure muscle, clearly I think Mo Alley Cox will get it in that realm. But when it comes to muscle, we've watched too much basketball to know. Doesn't matter how strong you are. You got to have technicalities. You got to know how to finish at the rim, so forth and so on. I think that'll be a great matchup. Straight up, I can't take anyone, but I got to know what technique defensively Michael Pittman uses. I love the length to intercept, get in his hands into passing lanes, all that stuff. Bobby Okereke, I'm looking at him as my 3 and D. Quentin Nelson is going to be like a Nikola Jokic. He can score from the paint. He can pass outside. Kenny Moore, the floor general, the long arms, make passes over guys. And Julian Blackman, probably going to be my all-around scorer.
Marcus Brady interview on 107.5 The Fan. I believe Kevin Bourne was subbing in. He talked about how he was playing, at the Colts facility against different players and how nobody on the team could guard him. I'm taking his word for it, man. I'm taking his word for it. He said, not a soul in that building can guard me. That's what he said. Not a soul.
That's because Mo Alley Cox isn't willing to play him. He's not in his same category. But y'all, I want to hear in the comments. I want to see you guys let us know who has the best squad, who has the worst squad. Let us know why. Tell us why Michael hates Mo Alley Cox. We're trying to figure it out.
I didn't pick him number 1.
Maybe Michael. Maybe you guys can explain to us what you guys think Michael has against Mo Alley Cox. Like, did Mo Alley Cox fail Michael in school? Did Mo Alley Cox steal Michael's girlfriend? Like what happened to make Michael hate Mo Alley Cox as much as he did? I want to hear your guys' conspiracy theories on it because I'm really trying to figure it out. But hey, you guys have been listening.
Hold on. What did Mo Alley Cox do to be apparently the best player on the Colts?
Michael, we're not going to get into this right now, but hey, we're just super thankful for Fansided, guys. You guys are listening to the Blue Stable podcast, the official Colts podcast of Fansided. Make sure you guys give them a follow. Make sure you're hitting up me, Michael, and Rashad on Twitter. Also, the Blue Stable's official account. If you're watching on YouTube, our Twitter @s are to my left, I believe. Hopefully, I'm pointed at the right direction, or I look like an idiot when you guys are watching right now. But either way, just make sure you guys are checking that out, making sure you guys are looking for that content. And I don't know if you guys have anything else to say.
I just want to know why y'all keep writing Mo Alley Cox's so much. But hey, man, I love my lineup.
He played D1 basketball, Michael.
Quentin Nelson could have played D1 basketball, but he was just a dominant, ferocious guard.
And like I said, we're heading out for the day. We're gonna let Michael keep arguing.
Quick, before y'all go. Julio predictions. Do he come to the Colts? If not the Colts, what team he go to?
I think he goes to Green Bay. I think he shocks the world. He's going to go to Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is going to get his contract. 2 upset players are going to get happy in one day.
What you got, Mike?
He's coming to the Colts.
I say he goes to New England.
All right. Well, like I said, guys, you've been listening to the Blue Stable podcast. Make sure to follow, subscribe, hit us up. We're so thankful for you guys, and we out.